Hey everybody, what's up? It's Sam here from the Samwelb 12 Experience, and we have an amazing special guest to talk hockey with you today. This journey is incredible. The stories are off the charts. You're just going to want to tune in and listen because this is going to be amazing. This journey we're about to go on with these stories is going to take part over a couple of games, but we're going to post the full thing in its entirety so you will be able to go in and watch it. And I don't want to waste any more time. Here he is. You've seen him in the chat. Please welcome our good friend, Rick Smith. Rick, welcome to the show. Welcome to the
Hi,
channel.
everybody.
Great
Cheers, guys. Hi, everybody. How's everybody?
Great to see you again. Thank you for being here. You've been with
My
us
pleasure.
now for a while in the chat, always pumping up the Leafs, getting in there, dropping some great hockey knowledge. And I know our community has really become fond of you. So I'm super excited to be able to sit down and start talking about passion, talking about hockey, talking about inspiration, and just getting to learn a little bit about one of our viewers who we see all the time. So thank you for taking the time for us.
Absolutely. I'm excited too.
All right. So the first thing we're going to ask you out of the gate, and we know a little bit about you from your comments that you make, and we know you know the game of hockey and you seem to know it really well. Do you want to give everyone a little bit of an introduction of who you are and how you have become so knowledgeable about this game?
Well, I just like when I was a kid, I just was the love of the game, like every other kid. Growing up, just watching hockey. Saturday night when you only had three channels on TV, and every Saturday night you put it on the channel 6 on the old TV, where you had to actually go up and change the channels on the old square box. That's and you know, the love of the game there, and then you're sitting there with your buddy with your pajamas on, and in between intermissions, you're throwing hockey cards against the wall and playing cards like that, and then during the week you're putting your equipment on, you're going to practices, you're going to games, and you're getting the camaraderie going, and you're starting to meet new people, and then you just start loving it more and more, and then you can't get enough of it, and you're just, you're everybody's dream is always wanting to become a hockey player, and I couldn't get enough of it. We played a lot of ball hockey when we were young as well, so I was like one of the guys that go get all the nets and bring them out to the schoolyard, and I'll be one of the first ones out there and playing. And then as we grow older, guys that we played with in our ball hockey, we started playing in the Scarborough Ball Hockey League, and we took over Tier 1, and we won the championships just for the guys I grew up with. It was pretty amazing. Yeah, I got trophies and stuff in here in the room that I am in my man cave here. I'll maybe show you guys around later on and give you guys a little view. But yeah, it's just the love of the game, and we started. I guess when I started playing hockey, I played junior B for the Wexford Raiders, and then went from there. Um, I ended up having a really bad motorcycle accident. I busted my leg in 5 different places, pins, plates, the whole works. My knee was one way, my whole leg was facing the opposite direction.
Oy.
And the doctors told me I'd never be able to play hockey again. And I went from all different size casts from my knee to my hip, my knee to my hip. And so I started doing physiotherapy at Grace Hospital in Scarborough. And um, the therapy wasn't as great as I thought it was. I thought, you know what, I'll do my own therapy at home. I bought myself some leg weights and started doing my leg weights on the bed and stuff like that. And I had a field just right outside my back door was the schoolyard, and there's the track. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to start using it. So I started, trying to run, and it was awful the first time I started. So I started using that and going around the field, or at the track, and I started walking with a limp because I had a little bit of flexibility in my ankle that can only go so far. So I go, oh fuck, my hockey career's screwed, right? That's the first thing I thought of, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try and jog. So I did. I started jogging. We went from walking to jogging, and I was a little disappointed again. But then, you know what? I got better at it. And then I started jogging to I was doing like 10 laps. But on the 10th lap, what I do is about the 1,500-meter mark, I'd sprint it as fast as I can to the end. And then I'd take one walk around as my cool down and then walk off the field. And I do that like 2 or 3 times a week. And I thought, you know what? I got to try to put my skates on. I got to now. Now I can walk and I can jog now. So a friend of mine that I played hockey with, we went and played shinny hockey, right? So I went and put on my skates. The first thing I was afraid of to put my skate on the ice for the very first time, right? And sure enough, I got on the ice there and I moved around pretty good. And I realized, okay, well, I have to learn how to skate again. And I started feeling pretty good about myself that I could skate. Not as good as I wanted to be, but I knew I could skate. So I got more and more involved in it. And the doctors told me I'd never be able to skate again because they said if I went into the corner, if somebody cross-checked me from behind and I went into the boards hard, I'd never be able to walk the same again, ever. That's true. It was so true.
That's very difficult to hear, right? As a junior B player,
yeah,
somebody so passionate about the sport, you talk about Saturdays, watching it on TV like we all did, having to get up and go to the dial, click, 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 which is something, unfortunately, a lot of the young people today will never have to experience.
Never understand it. They'll never understand
it. You talk about throwing the hockey cards against the wall. That it makes me cringe today. When you think about the value of all those cards that were destroyed, being thrown against the wall, and all of that leading.
I'm never good at it. I always lost.
Or, we used to take them and we used to put them in our spokes of our bicycles.
Absolutely.
Just destroyed so many of those hockey cards. Can you imagine some kid today with a Connor McDavid rookie card in their bicycle spokes?
Oh, yeah. People be losing their minds. But, they'd be trying to steal the bike and everything.
Going through all that I'm sure so many people can relate to those stories, right? Watching Hockey Night Canada, playing with the hockey cards, doing all of that, but then playing at Junior B. I mean, that's a pretty good level of hockey, right? That's a pretty good...
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was for the Wexford Raiders.
And then, of course,
go ahead.
You have the situation. The accident comes and puts you out, and you think you're never going to be able to get back on the ice again. First of all, that speaks of so much passion and determination, right?
Right.
So many people get knocked down in one way or another, whether it's physically, mentally, and the struggle to get back up is real.
Yeah.
Now, I did not play at that level of hockey, but I remember when I was playing and I suffered a pretty nasty shoulder injury, and I knew it, right? When I kind of collided with somebody and I could just tell by the way my shoulder felt, I'm like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I just kind of had that feeling.
Sure.
And I remember coming home and I walked in the door and I dropped my hockey bag down, and it was one of those feelings where it's like, did I just put my hockey bag down for the last time?
Right.
And emotionally, I lost it. Like, I couldn't deal with the fact that this game I've played my entire life, I'm probably not going to do anymore. So, I mean, it by nowhere relates to, what you went through, but maybe a fraction, right? But here you are, the doctors are telling you this. Did you at the time?
I had a plate with 6 screws in my leg.
Wow.
And they had to do a bone graft. They had to do a bone graft on my hip because one of the bones on my tibula didn't fix properly. So 4 years later, they took a bone graft from my hip and put it in my leg.
Wow.
And then, so I had to literally, from then on, it was just like beer league.
Yeah.
I had to go to beer league playing. That's all I ended up playing out for a while after that. Yeah.
And when you were going through that, right, and you're going to the track and you're doing the running, did you kind of make that decision? Was it more of I just need to stay in shape, I need to have some kind of physical exercise and I'm doing this? Or was it more of, I don't care what the doctor said. I'm gonna get back on that ice. What was driving you to push yourself that hard?
I'm I think the drive was like I wanted to figure out if I could. And if I can push myself, I didn't know what the result was going to be at the end. I had no result. I just thought I had to try. And the more I got involved, the more, because of the passion I had for the game, the more effort I did into jogging. And next thing you know, the friends that see me that lost my leg thought I'd never play hockey again. They were asking me to play hockey again. Like I played 1 year in, you know where the Toronto Red Wings play at?
I think yes, I think
They,
so.
they yeah, it's at Shepherd and Allen Road, I think.
Yeah.
Shepherd and Allen Road. Well, I played 1 year in there, and that was full contact.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, it was full contact. I played 1 year there. We were the Bruins, and we were actually called the Bruins at the time. I played 1 year in there, and it got really physical. They still had the steel cages up instead of glass the
Wow.
time when I was there. So somebody hit me, and I didn't have a visor on. A big guy coming in on me. I was playing defense, and the guy come in behind me like with his stick up like this, and hit me really hard against the boards. And I had to put my hands up so fast like this because I could literally see my teeth coming right through the friggin'
Oh my
wanted to go
gosh.
right through the cement, right through the steel mesh. You know the steel mesh
Yeah.
cage that you used to use years ago. Well, if I didn't put my hands up, I was imagining that my teeth were going to be right through there. And
Like
that's when I started wearing a visor right after that because I didn't want to see all my teeth come out. I still have all my teeth, believe it or not, for playing. I'm shocked, but even when I had fights, I didn't lose my teeth. But
it's like a
yeah,
scene right at a slap shot.
yeah, I didn't lose anything. But and then I played a year of that, and then when I started working more, I didn't have time to play that much hockey because I had to work. I had to find out an income now, right?
Sure.
Because I wasn't getting paid, so I was working longer hours, 6 or 7 days a week sometimes, and at nights 2 or 3 times a week, I just joined the beer league, and then that's kind of what happened there. Is I was just stuck in a beer league, playing in A Tier One A division, and stuff like that, and playing with ex junior B and junior A hockey players. These were no schmoes. These guys were pretty good hockey players. I feel if you have passion in the right direction, you can do almost anything, because you'll know later on as we get into my even worse injury, um, my hand injury, um, that that helped me get through that injury, that my other injury that I had, and I didn't think I was going to ever play hockey again then either.
Right.
Um, and that was a whole new ball of wax. That I mean, my mind was depressed. I had, you can't imagine that you want to go and do things, and the pain is so incredible, and you're trying to figure out the best way to do it, and you're trying different things to try and make it work. And as I get into with my arm thing, explain it to you later on. That's exactly what I had to do. Like I had to go through the ups and downs of my different prosthetics that I had to use and to make it work, and to that kind of thing. And it was very, very hard and frustrating. Not a lot of people could go through it. And it's determination. Um, like I said, hockey was such a huge part of my life. I loved hockey as much as I did my woman. So, and those two were like side by each. Like everything else is didn't care about. Those two things. I didn't care if I had a job at that point. I just wanted to play hockey again. Really, I got to that point.
Yeah, and it's amazing. You go through the adversity. The passion is driving you. It's taking you there. You're on the ice. You're playing kind of the beer league. It's at least filling that void, right? You're on
Right,
the ice. You're
absolutely.
doing
The
it. You're
camaraderie. the
exactly.
camaraderie that you
It,
can never ever get in any other sport in hockey. I tell you, the
it's
camaraderie is there's nothing like it, and that's probably my second best. The motivation for that was the camaraderie of the love of the game, and the after the game where everybody gets together and has a beer together, and joking around and stuff like that. There's nothing in the world like it, and I could live that every day of my life. Like that. That's how much I loved it.
Yeah, and
That
I know
camaraderie meant that much to me, right?
for everybody that's watching that has laced them up before, I can see everyone's going to be agreeing with you 100%, right? The camaraderie is such a big part of the game, and
Absolutely.
it's such a big part that if you recall, even when Ryan O'Reilly, when he left the Maple Leafs, when he wouldn't re-sign, one of the things he kind of pointed out was that there was an issue with that camaraderie. When the team went on the road, they didn't always go out to dinner together. They didn't go and do things together. Everyone kind of went their separate way. And I know the National League is very different. It's a lot stricter, but getting together with the team, with the group, and going for drinks and going for wings or just hanging out and having that time is something real special. If people who are watching
Right.
that have never
Absolutely.
played the game before, we're not doing it justice. Like it is one of those things that it's such an important part of the game, and why people probably at times hang on longer than they should is because that camaraderie can't be replicated. And so let's go to that next stage now. You're playing kind of the beer league. You're getting into it. What happens next in your journey?
Well, I mean, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the camaraderie and stuff, and going out a few times a week. And then I was working at a place in Pickering, and believe it or not, I used to be a manager. We used to make vinyl records.
Oh,
Me
cool.
and the manager, yeah. So I used to make vinyl records, and so the guy was just starting to, because vinyl records was just starting to come back again, right in the '90s,
Yeah,
because
and we
people were
should
using it for scratching records and all that other stuff. The rappers were doing all this stuff, with the turntables and all that, right?
and we
And
should say for all
so
the young ones watching, vinyl is the record, the big
yeah,
round black record. It's not a
so
CD.
yeah, right before even a CD. That's right. Before a cassette, before the cassettes came out, and the big boom boxes. But yeah, so it was just me and him starting off. We started off with like four machines, and then he ended up getting four more. And and the manager, I would open up every morning and turn on the boilers and all that. Get up there, get there early, and do all that. Um, and he'd be answering the phones and stuff like that all day, and I'd be putting all the machines, getting all the machines going, and then um, what happened is to make it easier, to make the machines easier, he took the safety cages off, and a piece of vinyl will get stuck halfway up on the machine. When a pin pops out and the vinyl slips on it, is the best way I can describe it. It's a piece of vinyl puck like that. They're all like pellets, and they go through an extruder. It goes around and it comes out like toothpaste kind of thing,
Okay.
and then it drops on top of a pin, right? Sometimes it gets stuck on top of the pin, and you have to push it down and um, to the surface of where the plates are, and so we kept on doing that for a long period of time, and I got used to how to do it. But he got this one really old machine, um, and one of the times the piece of vinyl got stuck there. He went for his lunch, so I'm there by myself. He went for his lunch, and a piece of vinyl got stuck in the machine. So I went in there to put the puck down. I shut the machine off, what you're supposed to do, but put the vinyl puck down. But when the electric guy still had seen my hand, but what happened, there was still enough hydraulic fluid still in the system that came down on my hand anyway. And so there I am by myself, and this thing just totally cut off my hand. Now I have to run from um, almost like 15 yards to get to a phone to call 911.
Right.
I'm by myself. Um, so I'm telling, I'm on the phone talking to them, and they said, "Is there anybody there to help you and stuff?" I said, "There's nobody here, nobody here." Um, And I said, he said, well, could you wait on the phone? Somebody's going to be right there. You can hear the fire trucks and everybody coming, right? If they might have been there in about 15 minutes, um, but it felt like 2 hours to me.
I'm sure.
Had to get my coat and wrap it around. This happened like September 98, I guess it was. Yeah, September 98, 16th, September 16, 98. And uh, the pain was just unbearable. And she says, can you stay on the line? I said, no, I can't. So I ran out of the building, and I ended up ran out on the ground, and I held my hand like this in fetal position with my coat wrapped around my arm, and it was just bawling, like not really bawling, just like like screaming in that kind of way. And so the fire truck gets there, and they all come in, and they say, "Sir, are you okay?" And I showed them. I said, "No, I lost my hand. I lost my hand." And where is it? Where is it? It's still in the machine. So they go rushing in there, and they said, "No, it's not in the machine because the extruder, because it's so hot, it melted my bones
Oh my
and my
gosh.
stick and everything." So it was literally hanging like this,
Oh my
was
gosh.
stringing bones like this, was just hanging like this, and that was my hand. That was what was left of my hand.
Wow.
So I literally had to wrap it around like this and hold on to it like this. So then the ambulance comes. They take me to Ajax Hospital. I go to Ajax Hospital. They have me there, and they didn't want to give me any pain medication until the doctor got there. So they're calling this doctor, and there's nobody there that can do the surgery. So they throw me back in Ajax Hospital, and they took me to Scarborough General. So they threw me back in the ambulance, and still with no pain medication. And now there's a nurse with me trying to calm me down. And now I'm screaming in pain because now it's longer. Because I
Sure.
started off at Dufferin to Ajax, and now I'm in Scarborough, right? And then finally they put me out, and they said, you know, then I just woke up, and next thing you know, my hand's all in this cast, and they have a tube in it, and it's draining into this container, and for all the dry blood and everything to make it sterile. You know what I mean? And but that was when I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to play hockey again. I started thinking that again. I thought I just started playing again from my other accident 10 years before. And now I hear this is happening again. And I just met wife Sandy, and we just only been there together for 2 years. And I thought she was going to drop me like a hot potato because now she has to go through all this with me, right? And we end up. She was my, she was my godsend. She's the one that really inspired me the most. Like definitely, she stuck with me through thick and thin. That I never thought I'd be able to survive because I could see myself if I didn't have her being in a basement and at my mother's house and just being just going to depression mode and not knowing what my rest of my life was going to be like. There were so many things that were going
Having
to.
a support is so important.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. She was there for me,
yeah, and so you go
and
through
she was
this.
just my soulmate. I knew when we met each other, we were soulmates. We just knew, right?
Yeah,
And when you have that feeling, um, and her support was unbelievable. I remember um, the first day. I mean, I was in the hospital for at least 2 weeks. A lot of friends came and visited me and stuff, which was great. I mean, that was a good support. And then I remember my first time going home. Sandy told her job that she was taking a month off to look after me. Her job didn't like it. So she said, you know what, I'll quit then. She quit her
wow.
job. She quit her job to be with me for that month. And but like for sleeping wise, it was impossible. The phantom pain was so painful. I was literally walking around the kitchen through the living room doing laps from 1 in the morning till 4 in the morning in pain, and I'm just moaning like it can't cry anymore. It's just a moan.
Mm-hmm.
And um, and I can hear Sandy just, she could sleep crying because there's nothing she could do to help me. I said, she goes, please come to bed. I said, this is the only way I can do it. Support my hand and walk around was the only way I could figure out how to get through this. Um, so that went on for like about 3 or 4 weeks, right? And then they started after that. Then I started have to go for physio at Sunnybrook Hospital.
In
And
Sunnybrook, I mean, for those who
yeah,
don't know, they're not from kind of the in and around Toronto area. Sunnybrook is a wonderful facility. I mean,
yeah,
they deal with so much.
right.
It really is quite an amazing facility, and you know, to go through what you went through and having
Like I
Sandy
almost
by
bled to
your
death
side.
and died if
Yeah,
it wasn't for me to, because there was nobody there to help me at that place to wrap up my hand and everything. That I almost bled to death and died. If it wasn't for me wrapping it myself and knowing what to do and getting outside before everybody else was there, I could have bled to death and died. I mean, that's how scary it was. Yeah.
yeah, and to go through that, to go through being bounced around from one facility to another facility without the pain meds, you know, it's, I mean, it's heartbreaking to hear. Um, and now you get to this place where you're at home, you can't settle, you're struggling. I'm sure in the back of your mind, even all through this, you're still having those thoughts, as you mentioned before, about how am I going to get back on the ice. Yeah, and, you know,
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
funny in these times of
It,
distress.
absolutely. It was mind boggling if I could not go back to playing hockey again because I was playing in the men's league. But what I wanted to do afterwards is I'd go to the games, um, and I'd be on the bench with my team. I'd still go to the games, but I'd be on the bench with the team cheering them on. And one of the guys that was running the league, he was like a player league guy, CEO that ran the league that knew me, right? And he was the first one to skate up when I was playing when we were playing against his team. Skate up to me, he says, Rick, so I'm really sorry what happened. Do you ever think you'd play again? And I said, I don't know. I said, yeah, give me 2 years. Maybe 2 years I'll play again. Just threw a number out there,
Yeah,
right? And you know what? And so I went back to physio. I started working things out. And there was a lady there. She was a German lady. I forget her name. She was in charge of all the prosthetical stuff to help me with my prosthetics and stuff, help me build myself. Like when I got there, I said to Sandy, I'm going to take advantage of every single equipment I possibly can. Like I took advantage of the treadmills and the bicycling. The biking, I was racing the bike, racing. I'd do it for like 45 minutes. I'd do 6 miles on the bike, and then I'd run on the treadmill for like 2 miles. And then I started to do, and then they started massaging my arm and getting it better and all that stuff, and then getting ready for my prosthetics and all that, and building my muscle tone. And next thing you know, they come out with these different things that I can clip onto my stick, and go, well, I'll try it out. So I went, and Sandy's brother was running the ice and said, oh, why don't you bring Rick out? I said, sure, yeah, I'll come out. This is the first time really using it. So I got out there and I started stick handling it with a little bit. And then next thing you know, my whole arm and everything is stuck to the stick. All the sweat and everything is
yeah.
stuck to the stick. And I'm trying to skate and I'm getting so frustrated, like skating around with this thing. I said, oh, fuck, this isn't going to work. Um,
And you must
because
be
there's so
thinking
much,
at this time, you're back on the ice now, which you've been told twice
yeah,
now you're not going to be. Obviously, the second injury, you know, far worse. You
right,
overcome that. You get back on the ice. You get this prosthetic. You're like, hey, this could work. Maybe
right,
there's a chance I could get back. And I have a feeling you're a little bit like me. You get back on the ice and you don't take away that, well, I haven't skated for a while and physically I'm different than I was. You're probably still expecting yourself to move at somewhat of a high level, kind of where you left off. You're not taking
Right.
baby steps getting on
No,
there,
no, I
just
was
trying to
skating.
figure it
No,
out.
no, yeah, that was the thing. No, I could still skate fairly well. I mean, not as good as I did in junior B. It was like about 80% of what I used to be, which is fine. That was a level that I could still have fun and enjoy the game and
Yeah.
still have fun with. I still had some speed. It was sometimes turning a certain way would catch me. If I turn a certain way, I think it was to the right. I had a little bit issue, but I mean, it worked, but the crossover wasn't working as possibly can because of um, you know, in your heel, and how the best way I could do that. I'd say, okay, so this is my foot, and then this would be your heel, like that moves up and down like this.
Yeah.
Well, I only had a certain limit of that in my 1 foot from my motorcycle accident. So that's the only thing that stopped me from going skating around as fast as I hardly like I really could going to the right. Going to the left, I had no problem. Skating backwards, I was good. I could skate backwards really good. And I was the only thing that bothered me too is when I first got used to using the prosthetic, um, I was always famous for my poke checks. I can poke check the puck off of anybody almost. Like literally coming down on me, it's poke check the puck, and I'm gone the other direction. I'm going down for a goal. Like once I poke check, I'm going. I'm gone. Like I was an offensive defenseman. Like I was one of the best in the league in that. So I that was my game, right? But I knew now that I'm attached to the stick, I can't poke check anymore, right? And that was the hard part of me learning how to play the game again. And I had to learn to develop and move my body and skate a certain way to get from A to B. And you had to learn to cut people off towards the edge because now I'm playing in a non-contact sport, obviously non-contact men's league, right?
Yeah.
So, so like I say, a lot of time the prosthetic would fill up with so much sweat that it would come off, and my thing was attached to the thing to my stick. So I had to figure out how I was going to do it. So what I would do is in between shifts, I'd take the arm off, and I'd take the towel and wrap it around, rub my arm to get all the sweat off, and then put my thing back on. And then just as fast as I go out there, it started filling up with sweat again. And so then I found out when I going through my doctor, I said, what else can I use? Baby powder. So then I started bringing baby powder to the game. And then what I do is on the bench, as soon as it come off, I'd rub my arm and I'd throw smack baby powder on it. Now it's drying faster and it's taking longer for it to fill up. But after every shift, it'd still fill up, but it wasn't as sweaty. And I still had a lot more control, way more control because it wasn't sliding down. It
Right.
was actually sticking. It was actually the prosthetic was actually sticking to the arm, and which was okay. I got that far. Now it's time to learn how to stick handle more. So at home, just because I'm still off of work, I'd take an orange ball and practice in the hallway for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, just stick handling for hours, just with an orange ball to get me used to playing again. And then what happened was Sandy started going back to work now. And now it's my first time home alone. And it just so happens that she called her work and the work took her back. She says, are you ready to come back? She says, yeah, I really am. I want to come back. And they took her back in a heartbeat, which was great. She's a travel agent. So they took her back in a heartbeat. We used to travel a lot together. So, but anyways, when she started doing that, the first thing when I was home, my sister would call me because she was a very good inspiration person too. She told me that, she goes, well, guess where I am, Rick? I said, I have no clue. And she goes, well, I'm in Niagara Falls and I'm talking to a famous hockey player right now. I said, no way. She goes, who's that? She goes, well, we have a guest speaker out in Niagara Falls. She works for Apple. And one of the guest speakers is none other than Paul Henderson. I said, not the Paul Henderson, the 72 Summit Series Paul Henderson.
One of the most famous goals in Canadian
Famous
history.
goals in history, in Canadian history. That guy. She said, yeah. I go, no way. He goes, yeah, he wants to talk to you right now. He just finished the speech. I said, no way. I said, yeah, okay. So he comes on the phone and he goes, Rick, he goes, you know what? He says, um, I hear you going through a lot. He says, this is going to be hard on you and you're going to go through a really, really hard time. And he says, there's things that are going to be really tough, but he says, when another door opens or another door closes, another door opens. And if you can think positive like that, you can make your life so much better. And he talked to me for about a half hour like this. And then I said to him, I can't believe it. You're one of my favorite players of all time, especially in the 72 series when the whole country went friggin' wild when you scored that goal. And I said, you would have something there to sign for me, eh? And he goes, well, it just so happens, Rick, I wrote a book. It's called Shooting for Glory. And I said, and here's the book here. And he wrote a little something in here for me. It says, to Rick, never give up. You never know when an opportunity is just around the corner. Wishing you with best wishes, Paul Henderson.
Amazing. I
Right? And I told him how much he inspired me in my life, which is so incredible. What he did to, and then that just gave me more influence to keep going with stick handling and my skates and stuff. So, oh man, it was a dream come true just listening to him. Um, and with my wife and that in the background, and then me just starting to learn how to play again. Uh, Within the same year, I was back playing in my men's league.
That's incredible.
The exact
Absolutely
same
incredible.
year, I was playing in my men's league with my new prosthetic and everything. And because I did that my first year, um, here's a cover of that I was on in Sunnybrook Hospital. I don't know if you can see that.
There we go.
There's me sitting down there. Sunnybrook put me in the book here of their one of their monthly reports, and they hired a reporter to come out and watch me play hockey. They wanted to show that there was still life after an injury. So they went out to my men's league hockey team and they recorded me playing hockey. And they kept that was on VHS. And so that anybody else that came in there that wanted to play hockey again, they could go, look, this could happen to you. You can play again, to inspire other kids and other adults that wanted to play the sport that they love. And I mean, that was just unbelievable. I mean, uh, after that, um, one thing led to another. My friend Don Wade, that I was working out with at the physiotherapy, he was in a one arm articulate and he had contacts because he played a lot of summer Paralympic sports. And he won gold medal in a few different sports. So he inspired me, and he's a one arm articulate. And he was working out there as well. And he says, you're never going to guess this, Rick. He goes, well, what? He goes, well, Canada's trying to put a team together, an amputee hockey team. I said, no way. He says, yeah. He says, we want you to be a part of it. I said, are you kidding me? I said, are you serious? You mean we're playing for Canada? He goes, yeah. It's going to be the first ever Canadian amputee hockey team in the world. Not in the world, but like for Canada. The States already had a team, which we didn't know until later. But they were the ones who called us to tell us to get a team together. They knew a few guys that played Paralympics, and they told them to get a few guys together and get a team together, and we'll see what happens. And
Yeah.
then Russia ended up getting a team.
It
And Russia's got a team. Now Russia's got a team. Now the States has got a team. Now Canada's got a team. The Finns are now getting a team. But we still didn't have enough um, to be a full medal sport. It was still a demonstration sport because we only had 4 teams. You need 6.
Right.
And they still haven't got enough. They still haven't have enough to this day. We still had worlds, and we still got to Salt Lake City, and we still went to Lake Placid. We had world championships. We won. We won gold. In Salt Lake City, we had a demonstration sport.
And here I'll show the photo. Hopefully, oh,
Yeah,
I might have to post it up after. There's Rick with the me sticker on it. Absolutely incredible. And I mean, when you look at this, you know, the injuries happen. You come back once, the injury to the hand happens. You're thinking, how am I going to do this? You
right.
find a way. You're finding your way. You're working with the prosthetics. It's not really working out, and then all of a sudden, here you are. Your workout mate is like, "Hey, guess what? Team Canada's calling. We want to put a team together." I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
never in a million years,
exactly. I
would
never would.
anybody think like this series of events would come to be.
Exactly. What came around just blew my head off. Like, you're kidding me. Like,
And,
they seen how physically fit I was too, right? With all that running and jogging, and like, they knew I was serious about getting back in shape, right?
yeah. And here I have another photo we'll hold up here. And again, I know with the green screen, the quality probably isn't the best in the glare, so
But
we'll post these up. But
yeah, it's
there's
okay. And you could see the prosthetic there on the bottom of the stick.
yeah. So
Everybody else in the world was plugged in at the top of the stick. I'm the only one in the world that came up with that one at the bottom.
yeah. And so here you go. You start your journey with Team Canada, right? You're talking about Salt Lake City. You're talking about getting together with these people from the other nations. Tell us a little bit, what was that like when you first got together with your teammates? And was everybody feeling this sense of, we got the maple leaf on our jersey,
Oh
let's kind
yeah.
of take this home? What was that experience like?
You can't believe it, but you see it happening with all these people walking in, and they're all meeting for the first time, all in their suits and everything, and their wives, all meeting at the hotels. And a few of the ladies, honest to God, said that we were the best looking hockey team that they ever seen. Best good, like good looking, as in good looking hockey team that they ever seen. Like, women were drooling over our hockey team because we were that good looking. I, they said it was that impressive. Um, that kind of opened the doors for a lot of things to happen there. Then when jokes started coming out and things that we did in behind the scenes with playing around with our prosthetics and making things and joking around and fun stuff like
It's
that.
that camaraderie we talked about
Yeah,
earlier.
exactly what it was. And yeah, I mean, you're going into when we went to Lake Placid. I mean, it was pretty incredible. You're actually in the Olympic Training Center, and we're staying in the dorms, and we're eating at the cafeteria, and you're going, "Wow, this is the Olympic Training Center. We're actually here. We actually made it." When that sinks in, you're getting goosebumps, and then you just can't wait to get on the ice and practice, and you're trying to get your mind into gear. And we had a prosthetic technician. We had two of them on the bench for us. So anytime something would happen with their prosthetics, and that, they would be there to fix them. Um, and then I always had somebody help me tie up my skates, doing up a one-handed, right? Um, then I decided to go to Sunnybrook, and I asked him. I said, "Is there any way that I'd like to get my skates so I can do them up one-handed?" I said, "This is what I had in mind." I thought, you know what? What about Velcro and clips? I said, Velcro, you snap, you go in with your skates and you snap them in like this,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you have Velcro and it comes across and you pull it over. I had three of them come up and over the top of the buckle and it run right up to the top. And they said, "Yeah, we can do that." So Sunnybrook made me my skates that I designed. And so I started using them. I actually have a picture of them, actually. Yeah, here's a picture of them there. Oh,
There you go. Yep. By the way, just a
Okay.
few trophies on the back shelf there.
That, believe it or not, you're not going to believe where that is. That's Phil Pritchard's office, the owner of the Stanley Cup's office. That's me after using them and finished my career. I donated them to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
There you go. How many people can say their skates are in the Hockey Hall of Fame? That is
They're in the vault.
that's amazing.
They're in the vault. What happened is we had our very first game in Toronto with the Americans, and so it's the first time that we had our first amputee hockey game, Canada versus the United States in Toronto. And so it just so happens because I had a lot of friends, the original six friends and stuff. I used to go to the luncheons and I was friends with some of them. I don't know if you remember Harry Watson. He's an old guy, obviously. He's passed away. Um, this was Harry Watson. He's a legend. He has two Stanley Cups with Toronto. Whoops, trying to get
There
it
it
there.
is. God, I love those sweaters. Oh,
Right?
so nice.
That's him there. So I asked him if they'd come out and support the team, and they said sure. So I had three or four guys come out, sign autographs as you come into the building. Here's a picture here. I'll show it.
There you go. Right
That's
there.
me at center ice giving Harry Watson and who's it? Gardner, Mike Gardner, and they signed this, and that's me giving them a plaque at center ice for all their support.
It's just incredible this journey, um, and you continue to this day to inspire, like how Paul Henderson inspired you. You are now going on and inspiring so many other people. Whether I know you were just doing a talk the other day when we were talking through email or messaging, you told me you were going to do a speaking engagement somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Continuing to motivate and help, sharing your story here, with all of our viewers.
Well,
So
I'm hoping not boring you guys.
no, I mean this is amazing. And I really appreciate you opening up and sharing. I know everybody watching does as well. To continue to inspire. There is if you want to see more of Rick's story that was kind of captured in a newscast on the Canadian Amputee Hockey Committee YouTube page. There's some videos. We're gonna tag it and link it to our video as well, and we'll make sure the link to Rick's video is up there. I mean,
We had to raise money. We had to raise our own money to get to Salt Lake and that, and we had to go out and we had to go pound the pavement and market our team. So me and Don, the guy I was telling you about, the one arm articulate, I'd have him do the paperwork, and I had all the connections because I had friends that were involved with the old timers, right? The NHL Old Timers. So they got involved. There's a guy named Izzy, and he had jerseys, pucks, he had sticks, he had all the nice plaques and everything that are signed by all the players and stuff like that. He We were doing so I had him come out, and you have to, it's like an auction. You sign your name to, like, the picture's worth $200, and that's the minimum bid, and then anything above that goes to our team, right? So that's kind of how we did it. A lot of that stuff was out. Um, and there was jerseys and shirts and all that kind of stuff. So I called Paul Henderson and I asked him, I go, Paul, I said, is there any chance of signing a couple of hockey sticks and a couple of um, jerseys? He said, sure, no problem. He says, I'm doing a police convention, and I guess it was Mississauga. Yeah, I guess it was Mississauga. I thought it was Brampton, but it was Mississauga at the Hyatt. I think it was the Hyatt Regency. And he says, yeah, meet me there at such and such a time. So me and Don went down there. We grabbed our sticks and grabbed a jersey and grabbed their two jerseys, and he signed the two sticks, and then he signed the newer model of the Team Canada jerseys, like the newer ones that are out now, something like around 2002. The Canada logo with the hockey player on it, that one.
Yep.
And he signed that one. He said no problem. And then I showed him this one that's behind me here, and he says to me, he goes, Rick, I can't sign that. He says, I signed a contract. I go to him, what do you mean you signed a contract? He goes, I signed a contract. I'm not allowed to sign those 72 jerseys. Even the $1 million one that when he sold for $1 million was not even signed. And I go, well, Paul, I hate to tell you, but you're the one who inspired me to play hockey again. You were the inspiration to me to play hockey again. Now I'm playing for our country. I'm going for gold. I said, you have to sign it. And he gave me that look. He says, Rick, all right, but I'll sign it. He says, you know what? I'll sign it to you. And it says, to Rick, kindest wishes, Paul Henderson. And then it has the picture of him signing it in the picture. So that's better than authenticity. I don't think you can get any better than that.
Absolutely.
Right? And then it's got the two pins, Paul Henderson, 1972 Summit Series, with the 72 puck at the top.
It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Framed really nicely. I mean, that's amazing. And we've talked during the streams a few times about how these little things that NHL players can do that might seem trivial to them, might seem small to them, have such a big impact. When you first got that call, from that
Yes.
Apple event, Paul Henderson on the phone, hey Rick, to him, it's half an hour of his day, and
Right.
people know this doesn't happen every day, right?
No way.
This, especially
No way.
in today's day and age, we don't see that every day. But here's Paul Henderson, who scores arguably the biggest goal in Canadian history. Some would say Crosby's golden goal in Vancouver is now the biggest goal in Canadian history. But I still think that Summit Series goal
I
is
agree.
bigger.
There's nothing better because that's the start of history.
Exactly.
That was in the Cold War, and they fought on the ice like a Cold War.
Absolutely.
It was a war.
It is
that series.
It's a must watch.
A must watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so intense, and so to have someone like Paul Henderson calls you up on the phone, gives you some words of encouragement, gives you some word of advice. To him, it's half an hour of his day. He feels good about doing it, but that puts you on your path, and it all of a sudden gets your mind going. You're determined before. You're determined even more now, and you're
right.
just going.
He didn't realize how far I'd go.
Yeah.
He didn't think I'd be playing hockey again. He just wanted to clear my mind that I could be a better person.
Yep. And
he
it's
never
amazing.
thought I was going to play hockey again.
And now you're giving back. You're speaking to others. You're encouraging, and you never know what words are going to stick in somebody's mind and get them going. And maybe that's what they need to get them to get back on the ice, to get them to battle through adversity and continuing to go. You still have a passion for hockey today. Do you ever get a chance to get back on the ice, even for just a pleasure skate or a little?
No, I once I called it quits. Well, I called it quits only because now this might bother a lot of people. That why would you let that bother you? But it did. The team started going political. And it started going real political. They started treating people differently, and I didn't like it because I wasn't having fun anymore.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing with all of us. This is absolutely incredible. We know, like we said at the start, you're in not just our chat, you're in other chats. People see you around in the YouTube hockey communities.
Yeah,
so it's
true.
nice. It's nice for everyone to get to know you a little bit, your background, what you've gone through, how you've bounced back from what you went through, and how you're kind of helping to continue to deliver that message today.
And we got
If,
to, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but we did get to, we also got to play against the NHL Old Timers and raise money for cystic fibrosis.
oh, nice.
Yeah, I got pictures of that too. I got pictures of that. It's pretty amazing. I got pictures of me actually shooting at the. I was ready to shoot at the targets, and then they blew the whistle, and they changed the targets on to be the ones that are size of a fucking quarter.
So playing against the old timers, who
Yeah,
who was the who frustrated you the most, and who did you enjoy playing against the most, or is it one and the same?
I think Dan Daou.
Dan Dao of all the names, wow, Dan Dao, love it.
Yeah, yeah, and Normie Ullman. I had to
So
cover Normie Ullman. I had to
Norm,
cover Normie Ullman in front of the net all the time.
so I had a chance to meet Norm Allman back
Yeah,
way a long time ago. Mike
yeah.
Pellick and Norm Allman and all these guys, and I never forget. I was going into the arena with my dad, and there's Norm Allman. He gets out of his car, throws a bag over the shoulder, lights up a cigarette, and he's walking in into the rink smoking. And my
Oh,
mind was blown. I'm like,
yeah.
how is Normie Ullman smoking and gonna go play hockey? He's an athlete. He's not supposed to be doing that. It was so funny. But that's awesome. Norm Ullman and Dan Dao too.
Like if I can inspire just one or two people just to get back to um, living a normal life out of anything that I've talked about is is all worth it to me. That's all part of what I am now. Is if I can help somebody to get it that's going through such a hard time that needs um, because it is difficult. There's no doubt about it. And if you don't get the right support system, some people don't even have the support. But if you know somebody that's gone through it like myself, then they can understand it more because they can see it from a person that has done it. You know what I mean? It's like cancer. Like you can't explain it to anybody unless you've really had it. You
Yep,
know, all it does is there's nothing you can do for it. It's just support people. You know, but if you've gone through it and you're talking to somebody with cancer, then it sinks in a lot easier because they're saying the right notes that are coming to get into your head.
for sure.
Is the
Uh,
way I look at it.
listen, this has been amazing. I mean, we said it at the beginning, the journey full of inspiration, emotion, passion, dedication. I mean, absolutely incredible. And if anybody that's watching, if you have additional questions or you'd like to hear more from Rick, again, Rick, I don't know if you have a public facing contact, but if it's okay, at least for the time being, you can reach out to us through the channel.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, for sure.
samwellb12yt at gmail.com, or go to our website, samwellb12experience.com. On the about page, you can drop a note in and we can get you in contact with Rick if anybody has questions or whatnot. The stories you have are amazing. Inspiration oozing out of you, the passion for hockey. Now, I have to ask you, Rick, probably the hardest question I'm going to ask you all night.
Yeah.
Who is going to be the Maple Leafs starting goaltender for the playoffs this year for
Yeah,
2025?
yeah, that is probably the hardest question. I think it goes down to the wire. It has to go down to the wire, right?
I agree. It's going to be close. Um,
Here's a picture of me and Ronnie Ellis, and there's a picture of me at the podium saying my speech.
nice. There it is, the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And there's one more thing that the team gave me. I just have to take the computer with me. Another person that inspired me.
Oh, wow.
Muhammad Ali and George Chavello, signed by George Chavello.
That is
There's a picture of me. There's a picture of me and George Chavello there in the corner.
Oh, look at that with the picture.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
I got to talk to him. You know how what he went through with his life, with all his family went through
Yeah,
drugs and suicides, and that's another man who inspired me back then.
that's incredible. What a
And then
great piece.
here's this. I don't know if you can read it.
It's a
Can you see
little
it?
hard because the engraving.
It goes. It says presented to Rick Smith in honor of the efforts of your in honor of your efforts to make the Hockey Hall of Fame induction. Thank you from Team Canada Hockey Team, July 7th, 2001.
Oh, amazing.
I gave it to my mom, and then when she passed away, I got it back. I got a picture of me and my mom with it, and that's my screensaver.
Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, here's a few of my trophies. Oh, when I got back to my playing in my man's league, we won the championship. And not only that, I got a goal and 4 assists or something in the last game. And when they were giving out the trophies, they said, "We've never done this before, but we did it. We did it for you." Just a sec.
Oh, look at that.
Man of the Year award.
Amazing.
Rick Smith, Man of the Year award. The guy that I was talking to that I play hockey again, they said maybe 2 years within 1 year.
Yep.
That's what they gave me. The
Unbelievable.
whole place was in tears. The whole place, all the camaraderie, everybody was crying when they got this.
That's amazing. First of all, it's a beautiful pice. Uh,
Yeah, right. It's
but
like
it,
a little, it's like a Heisman Trophy to me,
yeah, yeah, and it just
right? But
reaffirms
it's hockey,
it reaffirms everything we've talked about today, from that
right?
entire journey all the way through, and coming out, with that, the man of the year, the
Yeah.
conversations you've had. I mean, it just goes to show anything is possible. Um, Listen, I hope the best for you.
Oh, for
I
sure,
love that
Sam.
you're continuing to inspire and speak to others, and share your story. Um, Thank you so much for opening up with us here.
I'm just glad to if I can help others and inspire others, and not just that. I think it was the journey of winning gold and celebrating that and sharing it with others, and the journey to get there was an incredible story. And I'm glad you all enjoyed it because I enjoy it as much talking about it as you guys as you guys actually sit and listen to it, because every little part of it has a meaning of what it's like to come back from something that's so tragic.
And if you have any questions for Rick, obviously you can ask him in the chat when you see him, but you can reach out to us through our channel email or through our website, and we'll make sure to pass those across to Rick. Rick, thank you again, and we look forward to talking to you real soon.
Oh, I had fun. I really enjoyed it, Sam. And yeah, it was really fun, Sam.
That was our good friend Rick with an unbelievable journey. We told you at the beginning today was going to be filled with passion, inspiration, dedication. Oh, Rick, what a journey. Thank you again so much for opening up to us. We look forward to talking to you again real soon. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe, share out this inspirational story. This is one everybody needs to hear. Thank you so much for watching over the last hour and a bit. We really appreciate it. We'll be back with lots of more videos to come, lots of more sports, hockey, baseball, play-by-play. Thank you for being a part of our community. Again, if you want to get a hold of Rick, send us an email, samwelb12yt@gmail.com, or reach out to us on our website, the samwelb12experience.com/about, and we can certainly get you in touch with Rick. Thank you, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you real soon.